Towns love their monuments, don't they? They're like the proud parents showing off their kids' report card. Look at this one. It signifies our accomplishments and strength. But let's be honest, these sculptures are boring. The ones I love, well, let's just say, they're quirky. Take Charlotte, for example. It's got a treasure trove of oddball monuments. So buckle up as we dive into the wonderfully weird side of Charlotte. We're on a mission to uncover the city's most bizarre monuments. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and maybe even question why a giant chicken is proudly strutting around town. And away we go!
Let's go chicken, baby.
It's hard not to miss the big wheel anchor to the square in uptown Charlotte. It always grabs our eye. It's called Il Gran Disco, or the Great Disc. It was sculpted by the famed Italian artist Arnaldo Pomodoro. The decision to hire an Italian was controversial at the time, considering the piece's prominent place in town. There are 5 other versions of Il Gran Disco throughout the world, and it's also being called the Penny and the Flying Saucer. We're heading into the Elmwood Cemetery for a real quirky story. And this dude was crushed by an elephant. Interesting story with this white obelisk. If you see, there is a picture of an elephant on there, carving of an elephant. And the unfortunate soul that happens to be buried here is John King. So what's with the elephant and John King? I think the story goes September 27th, 1880, the John Robinson Circus was leaving Charlotte and John King was working for the circus, and this big elephant here, Chief, was also there. Well, I don't know what happened between the two, but all that to say that John King got stomped to death, crushed to death. Some say that he was flung against the animal cage, the lion cage, and some say he was crushed by the elephant against the boxcar. But all that to say, here lies John King, stomped by this elephant. I don't know, it's don't understand why they put the elephant there if you were stomped by the elephant. Affectionately known as Disco Chicken by area residents, the shimmering Firebird sculpture was installed in 2009 and stands at the entrance of the Beckler Museum of Modern Arts on Tryon Street. The statue stands over 17 feet tall and weighs over 1,400 pounds, and the entire statue is covered from top to bottom in over 7,500 pieces of mirrored and colored glass. The piece was created in 1991 by French-American artist Niki de Saint-Phal and was purchased by Andreas Beckler specifically for placement at the front of the museum. And right across the street from the Disco Chicken, we've got the Green Sculpture Garden. The Brick Association of the Carolinas commissioned Life is an Open Book, depicting brick kids climbing on a brick book, for a generation not influenced by Pink Floyd. The Brick Association of the Carolinas commissioned this sculpture honoring the American Institute of Architects of both North and South Carolina. In keeping with the literary theme of the Green Sculpture Garden, Life is an Open Book by Brad Spencer shows brick children climbing an open brick book. This is only one of many unique thought-provoking sculptures in the park that deserves exploring. The same park boasts other quirky monuments. The sculpted stacks of Goliath-sized books with titles such as Don Quixote and Wuthering Heights flank the entrance to the Green, a small park in uptown Charlotte. In the summer, if you dare, walk onto a circular plaza and see if you could escape being drenched by 3 big fish spitting at random. A water fountain with 3 big fish squirts water during warm months. It is located in the same park as the Brick Kids. The 10-foot-tall fish was sculpted by Carolyn Baraskma and installed in 2003.
Charlotte, we rise with a first so unique. Disco chicken in the streets, yeah, it's what we seek. I make man away, where the dreams take flight. Brick kids building futures, shining so bright.
Dedicated in 1995 and located on each corner at the intersection of Trade and Tryon in uptown Charlotte. 3 of the 4 corner statues symbolize the factors that have contributed to the city's historic growth: commerce, industry, and transportation, while the fourth statue represents the future. The jumble of sculptures outside the children's library is titled The Writer's Desk, a 2005 work by Larry Kirkland and a tribute to former Charlotte Observer publisher Rolf Neal. A bronze quill pen sticks up from an inkwell atop a stack of books, surrounded by typewriter keys, pencils, and hand stamps. We're making our way to a real iconic structure in Charlotte. Old Man Traffic, Hugh McManamy. The busy intersection of Queens and Providence Road in Charlotte can be confusing, even with its traffic lights. This disorder evidently obsessed Hugh McManamy, who uninvited spent 20 years standing in the street medium right here wearing a tie and a golf hat, directing traffic with his index finger and a white dish towel. Short, plump and bespectacled, Hugh lived nearby in a 20-room mansion inherited from his parents. He was liked by everyone in the neighborhood, although no one understood his compulsion for directing traffic, not even Hugh, who cheerfully described himself as crazy. Old Man Traffic was on duty day after day, year after year, never discouraged by the disinterest of the motoring public until a stroke in 1976 brought an end to his self-appointed duties. But the neighborhood residents never forgot Hugh and spearheaded a drive through the local newspaper to have a bronze statue of him erected on his signature spot, sculpted by Elsie Shaw, and it was unveiled here on December 9th, the year 2000. Hugh continues to be a Charlotte ambassador of goodwill, as his statue is often dressed for graduations, anniversaries, holidays, and most frequently weddings, at the church on the corner where the traffic remains as chaotic as ever. On a warm day like this, I fancied an ice cream at the Dairy Queen, with another iconic structure, the Eskimo Girl at the Dairy Queen. According to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Historic Landmarks Commission, this Dairy Queen, and more importantly, its kick-ass sign, has been around since 1947. You could walk up to the joint, place your milkshake order, snap a few pictures, and be on your way in just a few minutes. Now let's grab some Charlotte history and check out Captain Jack. Captain James Jack, a Charlotte militia captain and tavern owner, risked his life to ride to Philadelphia in June of 1775 to deliver documents to the Continental Congress that expressed Charlotte's call for liberty. As the American Revolution began in 1775, citizens here resolved that authority of king or parliament are annulled, more than a year before the 1776 U.S. Declaration of Independence. Local tradition holds that 27 men signed an actual Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence on May 20th, 1775. This date is included on the North Carolina state flag.
Forever we cling, and ever we cling, ever we cling. So raise your voice, let the anthem ring. In Charlotte, the joy is the song we bring.
Installed on November 11, 1989, the Mecklenburg County Vietnam Veterans Memorial is a 270-foot long wall made up of 187 granite panels that start at the ground level and gently rises to the height of 7 feet following the slope of the land. The 38 panels have inscriptions that include a timeline of the Vietnam War from 1959 to 1975. Moving from left to right, one sees a historical narrative of the war, along with the U.S. presidents serving at the time, a map of Southeast Asia, and excerpts of poems written by a local Vietnam veteran. The names of 105 Mecklenburg County servicemen who died in Vietnam are listed on the panels dated from 1965 to 1972, in order of the date of death. There's a quirky monument right across the border in South Carolina that I have to show you. South Carolina. Formed in 1712 from part of Carolina, which was chartered in 1663. It was first settled by the English in 1670, one of the 13 original states.
Books stacked high, wisdom in the air.
Confederate Park, established 1891 on property donated by Captain Samuel E. White. The site was given citizens of Fort Mill to perpetuate the memory of those who sacrificed so much from 1861 to 1865. Assisting in making this historic spot a reality were John McKee Spratt and others. Monuments were erected from 1891 to 1900. Funds defraying costs were by the public subscription, with no government money involved. The bandstand was built in 1900. We're in Fort Mill, South Carolina. What are we doing in Fort Mill when this video is all about Quirky Charlotte monuments? Fort Mill isn't that far from Charlotte, and this monument is certainly quirky enough to make it into this video. What's so quirky about it? Well, this monument behind me is a monument that's dedicated to the faithful slaves. Dedicated to the faithful slaves who, loyal to a sacred trust, toiled for the support of the army with matchless devotion and with sterling fidelity, guarded our defenseless homes, women and children during the struggle for the principles of our Confederate States of America. They're saying thank you. Saying thank you for looking after our children and our homes that are defenseless, and thank you for taking care of our livelihood while we are going out there fighting for the principles that keep you enslaved. And so you're welcome, I guess? I don't know, but this thing here, I don't know. That's quirky enough for me. Let's head back up to North Carolina and check out some other Queen City quirky monuments.
In the heart of Charlotte, where quirkiness thrives.
And as we come to the other side,
Giant hands reach out with stories to tell.
North Carolina, colonized 1585, 1587 by first English settlers in America, permanently settled circa 1650, first to vote in readiness for independence on April 12, 1776.
A canvas of dreams painted in the sky, from quirky monuments to the hero's call. In this vibrant city.
Metamorphosis is a giant head that sits in a business park in Charlotte. It is a water-spitting 22-foot-tall structure with horizontally moving stainless steel plates that form and reform into a giant metal head, except when the motor's turned off.
Brick kids playing under warm city lights, stacks of books, and the Dairy Queen signs, patriots honored. In history we find
The giant hand in uptown Charlotte is a gargantuan sculpture of a human hand, seemed designed for visitors to lean up against its mighty palm.
together we steer. Charlotte, oh Charlotte, your spirit soars high. A canvas of dreams painted in the sky, from quirky monuments to the hero's call. In this vibrant city, we embrace.
The unloved statue of Martin Luther King was sculpted in 1980 by Selma Burke, who claimed to have designed the Roosevelt head on the dime. It is so unloved that there was once a public outcry to replace the King's head, which it failed. The park is also where the bombing scene takes place in the 2011 TV series Homeland. I hope you caught a glimpse of the quirky side of Charlotte. Now let's meet at my favorite hangout, the Thirsty Beaver. So let's dive into the delightful chaos where the drinks are cold, the decor is wild, and the beaver is always a good time. If you like this video, please subscribe, smash a like, and leave a lovely comment, and I'll see you on the next Away We Go!